Welcome to today's Ukraine War Update for July 28, 2026. The meeting Ukraine has been waiting for happened this morning. In Washington, President Zelensky sat down with President Trump at the White House, about an hour, behind closed doors. Both sides called it a success. Zelensky thanked Trump for a good meeting. The White House called it positive and productive. Two things sat at the top of the agenda. First, air defense. Zelensky said they discussed licenses for Ukraine to build its own Patriot interceptors, the missiles that stop Russia's ballistics. And second, diplomacy. Both men agreed, in Zelensky's words, that the peace process needs to be reinvigorated. Ahead of the visit, American and Ukrainian officials had been preparing a specific idea to put to Moscow: a ceasefire in the air, halting the long-range strikes on cities and power grids as a first step. But the caution is real. The Kremlin has already denied any such talks are underway, and warned that Ukraine's deepening strikes will only prolong the war. It is, in short, the most movement toward talks in months, and still, only movement. And Ukraine went into that meeting having just delivered its point in the loudest possible way. Overnight, it threw one of its largest drone swarms of the war straight at Moscow. The city's own mayor said nearly 400 drones came at the capital and its region. Russia claimed to have shot down 356. Not all were stopped. In Chekhov, south of Moscow, a steel fabrication plant was set on fire. And in occupied Crimea, a strike on a substation at Feodosia blacked out the east of the peninsula, with fuel and logistics depots hit near Ichki. As Zelensky talked peace in Washington, his drones were burning in the suburbs of the Russian capital. Russia's own overnight barrage was lighter than of late, 131 drones, of which Ukraine brought down 107. But the strike still fell on civilians across several regions. In Kharkiv, a drone tore into an apartment block, wounding 9, and in Zaporizhia more than a dozen people were hurt, among them children. And in a small sign of the times, Russia finished off the last working petrol station on the highway between Kharkiv and Poltava. Fuel, now, a target on both sides of this war. But while the president was abroad, the crisis he left behind did not resolve itself. Ukraine still has no confirmed defense minister. Mikhailo Fedorov, the popular minister whose sacking started all this, is still refusing every job but his old one, and the public is with him. Polls now show around 70% disapprove of his removal. The protests in Kiev have become open-ended, and parliament remains in recess until the middle of August. The most technologically important portfolio in Ukraine's war sits empty, even as its president flies home from talks about how to win it. Russia's losses, as ever, ran on regardless. More than 1,500 soldiers and 1,700 drones in a day, its cumulative total now above 1,442,000, and the drone tally passed 431,000. On the ground, little shifted. 227 clashes were recorded, with Pokrovsk and Konstantinivka once again the hardest pressed. No settlement changed hands, leaving the president to fly home to the same war he left, only now with a little more hope of one day ending it. That wraps up today's update. If you found this useful, press the like button and subscribe in order to support this channel. Stay informed, stay safe, and I'll see you tomorrow.